Hello, I'm Dean. Today, I'm going to be talking about a topic that gave me some sort of interest a few months ago, and a topic I promised I'd make a YouTube video on at some point. Well, this is that point. And today, we're talking about the rise and fall of the Viantastic Discord server. For those unfamiliar with Viantastic, or Vian, he is a Canadian content creator that is mostly known for his Splatoon videos. Specifically, he became really popular among Splatoon fans when he released a series of videos that involved a character named Bridget. Bridget is just a base Octoling character wearing gear from Splatoon 2's Octo Expansion DLC. And in Vian's videos, he communicates with Bridget about events happening in said videos. Essentially, Vian was just talking to himself while subtitles popped up on the screen. This totally didn't cause problems for his then current audience and the direction he took in his channel after the first Bridget video. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the Discord server that was created in his name. The Viantastic Discord server was created by a fan who's named Chanicorn. The server was created between the months of March and April 2017, 3 to 4 months before the release of Splatoon 2, the sequel to the first game. Many people talked about memes, Splatoon, and Vian's content on the server, with some game nights being held to allow the community to join together and play Splatoon or other multiplayer games online. There were also events that occurred throughout the server that allowed Vian opportunities to interact with his community, such as when he made a video of him battling against fans one-on-one in Splatoon 2. However, the main purpose of the server was just to be a place where fans of Vian came together and talked about whatever they wanted to with other people. The mod team for the server consisted of Chanicorn, the owner, Squiggies, an acquaintance of Vian's at the time, Goldie, Grandest Goon, and Sui, along with others who were added to the team later on. The server would continue to act as a space for people to interact, but eventually the server would reach a point where its stability would come into question. The release of the first Bridget video brought in loads of popularity to both Viantastic and his Discord server, with lots of newer members coming in and new traction coming to Viantastic's channel because of the continued Bridget videos. The server slowly but surely became more of an issue to handle. The mods of the server were unable to control the amount of younger people coming into the server, members that, as claimed by Squiggies himself, weren't old enough to have a Discord account. Chanicorn, who was still the owner at that time, was overly strict about how the chats worked, and the new influx of members only added to her becoming tired of running the server. When Chanicorn had enough, they passed the server on to a new owner, Deltops. Chanicorn claims that Deltops was chosen because they were strict in moderating the server at the time and reflected what they wanted for the server as well. However, another issue became prominent, which is that the mods didn't like Vian's new style of content. This new content mainly consisted of Bridget type videos where Vian internally monologues and the viewer just listens for the entire video. The mods and older members of the server were fans of Vian's older content where he interacted with his community and covered Splatoon content in depth. As a result, the server fell apart quickly, with lots of mods and older members leaving due to the shift in Vian's content and the server being too much of a hassle to run. This would eventually lead to the server shutting down at some point in 2019. Well, that's it. That's essentially what happened to the Viantastic Discord server. Unfortunately, nothing of note really happened, but it did play a part in setting a trend with Viantastic and how he approached his content from then on. It became clear through the server that he was actively trying to cater to what immediately worked on his YouTube channel, instead of building and growing his community by using what he knew already. This inevitably led to the server's shutdown and also disconnected Vian's original fanbase from the creator they once knew and appreciated. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it, and I hope you learned something new from this. The rest of the video will be a full uncut interview with Squiggies, a past acquaintance of Vian's who collaborated with him, and responses from Chanicorn, who was the original owner of the Discord server. I will also be linking down below the socials of those who I reached out to in order to make this project. So thank you to those who I reached out to, and for helping and for having a social media account. If you want to see more videos, click the like button, subscribe, whatever. I may make more videos, depends. Alright, I'll see you later. Alright, so first I want to start off with, well, what's your name? Right?
I, I'm Swaggies. I am, I guess, still a Splatoon YouTuber. I was a active Splatoon YouTuber back when the Vian Discord was active, and yeah, that is who I am.
All right. So, when did you join Viantastic's Discord server? And who owned and ran the server?
Okay, so I joined the server as it was announced. Like right as it was announced, I was one of the first people on the server. It was ran by Chanicorn at the time, which I can give you a link to talk to Chanicorn if you want.
Oh, that'd be
Uh,
greatly appreciated.
as Channy, as I call him, Channy,
Mm-hmm.
was the first owner of the Discord server and was like what had the idea to create the Discord server.
Okay.
Uh, this was around. This was before Splatoon 2 came out, like around April of 2017. I think March or April of 2017 was when the Discord server was created.
Okay. So, now what was the server like? What did daily server activity consist of?
Basically, it was just a group chat. Basically, it was just a place for people to talk about just random memes, random stuff. Uh, I wasn't the most active member of it, and also this is what like 4 years old at this point, so it's a bit hard for me to remember. But I remember it just being a place where people hung out and talked. It wasn't really a place for many people to game. Like you had occasional game nights, but that wasn't really the case.
All right.
Uh, Most
So,
of the time,
and I guess
it was just
we can also assume that it was just a place to talk about like Splatoon and Vian's content, right?
yeah, Splatoon's and VN's content. Nintendo. We like oftentimes talk about Nintendo video games in general.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, it was mostly a place to just talk about VN's content or just talk about anything
All right.
that happened in that sort of sphere.
Yep. All right. So, were there any major events that you remember from the Discord?
Uh,
Well,
I remember early on there was the 1v1 contest
mm-hmm.
or like the 1v1 event. I think the video still exists on the YouTube channel.
All right.
Uh, it was basically just Vian interacting with as many people as possible doing a 1v1. Uh, and the moderators and I were just sitting in the VC listening. I think I recorded it. I think I recorded like the entire VC. I don't think I'll share that because that's one, old, and two, I don't think that's really necessary.
All right.
But that was recorded
Mm-hmm.
and like I can check to see like when it happened. Uh let me bring up my files real quick.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else besides that while you're bringing those files up?
Let me think. That was really the major event that we ended up doing. I don't really recall any other major events really that were hosted in it. Uh it was just a place for people to really get together and talk. Like you had its diehard members basically, and that was just it. It was basically just a place to talk. Like nothing more than that. No real events other than the 1v1 event that happened really early on in its lifespan.
All right. So, what problems did the server have that you noticed as your time as a moderator?
Uh, I would say this is later on. This is my personal gripes. Uh, is that Vian really only interacted with the patrons inside the Discord server. I understand why, but like that was my issue really.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and basically just it got overpopulated in general, towards like it became just hard to manage.
All right.
I'm trying to think, because I'm probably not the best person to ask for this. I think Channy is, or Deltops, if you can get in access with Deltops.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like, hmm. Let me think real quick. The major issues with the server. I think it was mostly just like moderator drama. That was like a big issue with the server, was just having in drama with the moderators. That, like, of course, I know this because I was a moderator. I don't know how much it really affected the server's experience for other people, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like I know that's like a big reason that like a lot of the moderators ended up leaving, was because just we didn't really have much interest in Vian's newer content.
And like by Bean's newer content, do you mean like
Bridget.
Bridget? Okay.
Yeah, like uh the sort of stuff where Bridget was getting involved, the talking with uh like Splatoon characters internally in the video.
Yeah.
Uh like generally the moderators who were like the older fans of Vian, like uh watching the Sounds video switch up, uh the like Splatoon 2 Let's Play that they did a while back.
Mm-hmm.
That was really why we were there. So when like the content started shifting, we stopped really watching Vian's content. And we just basically moderated the Discord server, and we didn't really want to moderate the Discord server anymore. So it like kind of led to a falling out towards like no one really wanted to moderate the Discord server. And that kind of led to the downfall of the server.
All right. So, were there like any situations that happened throughout the server that gave it a bad look?
Not that I know of.
All right.
Not that I know of. I think uh maybe just banning the occasional person. They maybe have a bad look on the server because we like banned somebody, but generally I think we were pretty drama free. So yeah.
All right. So, the ultimate question that I want to ask you is, why did the Discord server end up shutting down?
This is a rather simple answer. It just simply got too big. Due to Vian's new content being Bridget based, Bridget got really popular in the younger Splatoon community. Like extremely popular. If you go and look back at those videos, they're still Vian's most popular videos to date. And there's like nothing even close. Maybe like Switch Up 5. But I still feel like that's a long ways away at this point. Like Switch Up 5 was like the largest video during my time watching Vian before like Bridget came out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at just the sheer size of all other stuff above it, I'm very sure that if you look at it, it's going to be significantly more popular. And due to that, the Discord ended up getting flooded with a whole bunch of younger people. Younger people that, one, shouldn't even be allowed to have a Discord account. And two, shouldn't even, well, one, shouldn't be on the Discord account. And two, are hard to manage. Because when you have a sudden influx of about 1,000 preteens, that's like herding sheep. Well, herding cats. Bear with me. I'm sometimes stupid.
Yeah.
Uh, it's it's sad to see the server go. I wish that could have been left in an archive state.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up leaving just before the server died.
All right.
Because I didn't know that the server was going to die. I just left it because like I didn't really care for it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and it ended up going under very shortly after.
All right. So, did a lot of the people you originally worked with in the server, did they leave as well, or had they left by the time that you left?
I was one of the earlier people to leave. That's like uh original group. So these are people like uh so when I think of the original real big group, I think Chanicorn,
Mm-hmm.
Goldie Tail, the Grandest Goon, me, and Suey Shark. Those are really the original group that stayed throughout most of its life. Eli was added on after Suey was like the first additional moderator. Uh, Surprisingly, she was like 12, and we didn't know that when
Oh.
she ended up joining. But she was cool.
Mm-hmm.
She was chill, so no one like said anything. No one really said that it's like we need to kick them off. Uh, and what they became older throughout the lifespan of the server. So it's like they were able to be on Discord by then, so no one really had any fault with it.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah.
like I remember, uh, I wouldn't be able to say when people left. I feel like that's something you have to ask, like Goldie specifically, if they're willing to talk. That small animator specifically, or not that small animator. That's what the Grandest Goon used to be called. The Grandest Goon. I'd recommend asking them some questions because I feel like they're a bit more in tune with the server's culture.
Mm-hmm.
Goldie, I'm not sure. Goldie's more of like a mod person. They just hung out in mod chat, I think, and was like very early on in the server. Uh, and then Chanacorn is who you want to ask for like base server knowledge.
All right. So, one thing you did bring up earlier was that was Deltops and how they owned the server after like I assume Chanacorn stepped down.
Yeah,
So, do you know anything about how that came to be?
I don't know. It's one of the biggest questions is why Channy chose Deltops over me to become the new server owner.
Oh, really? So
Because
you were in contention.
uh yeah, like I it was like me, Deltops, and Channy were like the big dogs in the server. And I don't know why I wasn't chosen for owner because Deltops was like one of the new people on the mod team.
Right.
And I was like an OG, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still one of those gripes that I bring up occasionally with Channy nowadays. Like, hey, maybe if I was maybe if I was the owner for the Discord, things would have been different. But Channy and I are still good friends.
Mm-hmm.
There's no bad blood over it. I mean, there was for like I don't know 2 months, but then no one cared because like we just had drama that made no sense. Like I wouldn't be able to tell you why he didn't like me for those like 2 months, or they. I need to get better at it. They.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know why they didn't like me for those 2 months, but that's what happened. Deltops ended up running the server and uh was just kind of out of touch, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like they weren't really actively interacting with the mod chat all that much. Like they weren't the most active person in the world.
Yeah.
And like they didn't really seem to get along with the rest of the mod chat. Like they were just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the mod chat was a very tight in group of like just good friends.
All
And
right.
he was kind of like the outsider. So that ended up feeling kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think one more question to end it off. If it was up to you, would there be any changes or fixes that you would have made to the server to prevent it from shutting down?
Uh hmm.
Or do you think that it was going to shut down like either way, whatever you could have done?
Uh Before this ends off, I also have one other thing to add that I'll mention after this.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind
Yeah.
because it's like it's how you found me. I was like, okay, you're probably going to bring that up, but you ended up not really bringing it up.
Yeah.
Uh so I don't know what could have been done to really save the server because I would have made it to where it's just as easy as possible for a new person to talk with an older person in the server. Like new like more veteran member with a newer member because one of the big issues early on that I had was the usage of a leveling system in Discord and then like blocking off some permissions for lower level people.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of the biggest mistakes I think you can make in a Discord server.
Yeah.
That an overflow of just too many channels that weren't really being used. That's not really what kills a server, but it's just like one of those things that I would manage differently.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have hosted more events, so this way it would have just been more interesting to be a server member, even if they would be a nightmare to host. Just simply doing more events, like maybe another one of those 1v1 things,
Mm-hmm.
or just like art contests. Because I think there may have been an art contest really early on, but I don't think there was. But there might have been. Uh, that would be something to maybe ask uh Channy.
All right.
Or wait, I think we planned for an art contest to happen, but it never happened. I think that's what it was.
Mm.
But I probably would have just had more events, just get the community active more often, and probably like there's really no way to age gate Discord to make it to where uh you can really there's no way to make it to where you can't let like 12-year-olds and under in because they're just going to sneak in anyway. Like that's the nature of online accounts. But if there was a way to make it to where you couldn't allow younger people on, I feel like that could have saved the server.
Mm-hmm.
And I I'm trying like I'm really using all my brain power to try and think of uh what could have saved this server.
Uh,
I hmm I really don't know if there was anything. I think it was kind of destined to fall,
right.
just due to the nature of like how the server was built as a smaller server in mind, and then it just exponentially grew so fast that there was no way that the veteran mod team could have handled it, as we would have needed significantly more moderators, and you need like rather mature people to be a moderator,
Yeah.
like just mentally mature to be able to know when to not abuse your power, when to respect people, and also how to be just a good person. And that ended up being not the case. We could not handle it.
All right.
Uh, yep.
All right. Uh, and about what you said that you were going to bring up right after this, I literally just remembered as you were talking about what you would change with the server. So I'm just going to actually bring it up now. If that
Okay.
wasn't what you're going to bring up, then you can bring it up after. But
Okay.
you said that I did find you through a tweet that you made about the
Yeah.
Viantastic Discord, and it said that it affected the Viantastic amino in a negative way. So that's how I initially
Oh, it,
found you. So,
uh, the the Viantastic amino literally was like a dead fish. Like it was nothing. I didn't expect you to actually bring up that. I was expecting you to bring up the other thing that you found in the tweets. Uh, with
oh, hold on.
the Viantastic amino, that was something I made and it was bad. Amino's a bad platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There we go. That's all I have
Yeah,
to say about that.
yeah. Uh, and the other tweet I just remembered. It was
Yeah.
Viantastic story. It was
Yeah.
for the super duper 5K slam. I guess he hit 5,000 subscribers, and that's you made that based off of like the Discord. I saw
So
that there was like a bunch. There was basically a bunch of references, so not a lot of people would get it. So do you want to explain that?
so the Viantastic story was a crappy little cave story mod I made in the course of one summer, and it was, I will say, very poorly made. Uh, like you could tell it was stitched together from cave story assets, but it was a very good learning experience for me. It included just in jokes at the time, like references to things like Squid Post, which was the shitpost channel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we called it Squid Post.
Right.
That was probably a joke that went over a lot of the younger people's heads, but it's where you could post your memes. There was references to Jmoji server, which uh, the original one isn't active anymore. The original Jmoji server is dead. It's been archived, but I'm very sure that there's a new Jmoji server.
Mm-hmm.
But there was references to that, and there was initially going to be a sequel to the game, which would have involved a lot of like the older Splatoon creators. So that would have involved Vian, Gigi, Etz, uh, Jmoji, Rockenberg, uh, and maybe that SRB2 dude. I don't remember. But those are like, when I think of old large Splatoon creators, those are who I think of, and those would have been inside the sequel game, which never came out. Uh, and I remember uh trying to think. So I'm trying to remember the plot to what Viantastic story was. So I'm I remember finding really early on in Vian's what's it called? Like lifespan, their DeviantArt account, because it went by Vian Treston,
Mm-hmm.
which is like Vian's old and it might still be their @ on Twitter.
Yeah, it's still Vian's app.
Uh and you could find their old DeviantArt account being Secret Solo Soul, where Vian had an edgy little OC, like red and black OC. I have to say the design is pretty cool. I do like the design of it. Uh and it ended up being the villain to where Vian's alter ego came back to take over Viantastic. And it ended up as a little fan game I made to where you had to go save Vian and Shanacorn from Secret Solo Soul. and I think it was like you had to defeat like the Edgytron 5000 or something like that. Uh, where it's like you then get promoted to moderator by the end of it, and it's like one of the moderators who's like always not active just kind of shows up and goes like, "Hey, what happened?" Because I thought that was the peak of comedy.
Yeah, there's always an active moderators in every Discord server.
Yep. I mean, I can just look at my own Discord server and see myself. uh, let me. So, Viantastic story ended up almost getting a sequel, but ended up being too large scope for what I could really do. I can send you some of the music that was created for Viantastic story, though, if you want to use it in the background of the video.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it totally. Also,
Okay.
I do uh just I think I had a question. What was it? It was like I forgot it. Oh my god. I forgot the question I was gonna ask.
Well,
Oh,
maybe
I remember. I remember. So, is there like is it still playable? Like, is there a link to it? Did you publish it on any website, like
yes.
mod website? Like,
Here I can find it real quick. I think I should be able to just look up Fantastic Story, Cave Story. Uh, so here is the playthrough that Vian did of it.
mhm.
And download version 1.0.1. Yes. Uh, right here is uh the download for it, which is a forum post on the Cave Story tribute site. Uh, this was made in 2017. This was for when Vian got 10K subscribers. Yeah. So it's like it was announced that when he got 5K, I think, and came out when he got 10K.
All right.
Uh,
Mhm.
let me just. I'm just skimming through this stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, yeah. Right here's the. Uh, right. I found the plot line of it. So after the event starts, Vian's computer goes haywire in front of it, and the past Secret Solo Soul, that's his edgy username at the time. Secret sends Vian somewhere with his edgy powers, and sends the player to a place called Squid Post, where you navigate your way out and find a moderator named Stewie Shark, uh, and you help her. Uh, you ha- you fight her, and you both proceed to get banned from the server. You find yourself in Jmojin Jungle, because I wanted a jungle level. Made a Jmoji Jungle,
Mhm.
uh, which has a lot of Jmoji faces all over. Back when he used like the crying laughing emoji as
Yeah.
his icon. Uh, and you and you and you, the player, try to find your way back into VN server uh where you fight past Secret Solo Soul. Yep. And the second boss ended up being Deltops. I remember that. Uh, yeah, the mod was supposed to last about like 30 minutes to go through, but that is the fantastic story. Let me see if I can find. I should send you some of the music later.
All right. Yeah. So I think that about wraps it all up, at least for the interview.
Yeah.
So thank you. I really appreciate it. Uh, is there anything else you want to say before I stop the recording?
Uh, I could end this such a lame way. I could end it like I used to, like my old inside joke, which was subscribe to Squaggies, but I'm not gonna do it. It's so lame of a joke. That's how I'll end it. Just nothing. Besides whatever you decide to keep in of me saying that.
Yeah, I'll probably leave that in, and I'll just
All
put
right.
your YouTube in the description.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.